Hello, I'm the Media Wiz, because one art form wasn't enough, and okay, I actually planned to do a review of this movie, but I wrote the script out, and then just to compare and contrast, I watched other people's reviews and videos on this movie. I basically just ended up repeating everyone else's talking points. I watched Blockbuster Buster's review after I finished writing. I checked Media Hunter and Test Zero's video. Uh, those are actually the only two I watched, but really, I couldn't come up with really any jokes that were new or different in this one. So, yeah, I decided to just do another vlog on this one. Don't worry, the next one's definitely going to be a review. I've got two more videos planned after this for this month, so those are definitely going to try. I'm definitely going to try and make those reviews because. But for this one, I just couldn't find anything new or innovative to say about this movie in review form. I couldn't think of any jokes that were original. I couldn't make any. I couldn't, like, all my criticisms were basically the same. So screw it. We're just gonna do a movie vlog on this movie instead. So here we go. This is 2006's Shaggy Dog. So this was kind of a trend in the early 2000s, or even like mid to late 2000s, that Disney was trying to take some of their older franchises and revamp them for the new generation. They did it with Freaky Friday. They did it with Herbie Fully Loaded. They did it with a bunch of other franchises that were older, but Disney had the rights to. They're like, hey, let's try and make this new. So in this case, they took a movie from the 50s, and I believe there was a remake in the 90s, and they wanted to do a new one. But instead, I think in the original movies, it was a magic ring or something that turned the person who wore it into a dog, but here they changed it to make it more scientific. So, okay, the movie begins in China, or Tibet to be exact, and there's a dog that is lived over 300 years old, I think is what they said in the movie, but the dog's very old, and it seems like it's immortal. So, the military is sent in to take this dog from the monastery that it's at, and they even have a dog with a bunch of monks doing the praying. That was stupid. And it's taken to this company that's trying to make some kind of chemical or pill that will give people immortality. And this company is owned by, well, a guy named Mr. Strickland, who's this older dude in a wheelchair, and he wants to be immortal. And his right hand man, the dude that's practically running the show, but his boss is in the way, is played by Iron Man himself, Robert Downey Jr., who at this point in time was trying to get over some bad addictions. He was trying to get over a lot of drug problems he had. So, yeah, this was about 3 years, I want to say, or no, not even. This was 2 years before Iron Man came and fixed everything. So, yeah, Robert Downey Jr. is probably the best thing in this movie, but we'll get to that. So, Tim Allen plays a lawyer who he's very good at what he does, apparently, and he's trying to defend Robert Downey Jr. because apparently his building had an attempted arson attack by a bunch of animal rights protesters. Insert topical joke about Nazis versus protesters here. And apparently Tim Allen's daughter is part of the protest, and she's very much against Tim Allen defending a horrible person. She even says at one point, "You're defending a puppy murderer." It's just wow, it sounds like something off of Captain Planet. It really does. And his son's played by Spencer Breslin, who, if you don't know, yeah, he's the kid from Cat in the Hat who played I almost said Klondike because that was that movie. Conrad, that was the kid's name. But yeah, Spencer Breslin. He was also the kid in Two and a Half Men, and he was also in the Santa Claus movies, also with Tim Allen. I just want to get the obvious point out of the way. This is my biggest problem with this movie, is that it's cliche. I mean, the premise is hey, I think I went over this exact thing in the road trip comedy rant, but hey, have you seen Liar Liar? Have you seen Dr. Dolittle, where it's the dad who has a really good job, but he doesn't pay attention to his family, and then some kind of divine intervention happens, and then he learns to love his family and spend more time on them? Yeah, you've seen this movie. Not to say that you can't take a cliche plot and make it work, but this movie doesn't really do anything new or creative. Okay, so yeah, Tim Allen is a very successful lawyer, barely pays attention to his family half the time. The son is enrolled in a football team at the school, but he doesn't want to do that. He wants to be a thespian actor at the school, but that's a subplot like way later, and overall, everyone just kind of thinks Tim Allen is a jerk because he doesn't spend enough time with the family. That is until the kids, specifically the daughter and her boyfriend, who are part of the protest, the animal rights protest, just break and enter and steal a dog that's in the lab. And it just happens to be the dog from the beginning, this ancient dog, which they nicknamed Shaggy. They take the dog home. One thing I'm surprised the movie didn't do was they didn't try to force the whole, hey, we have to hide the dog from mom and dad. We're trying to. I'm surprised they didn't go that route. Yeah, and the dad, they set up at the very beginning that Tim Allen hates dogs, and then as soon as he walks in, he sees the dog. There's a dog here. And then he tries to get rid of the dog, and they're like, Dad, can we keep him? It's like, what do you think the answer was going to be? Of course it was going to be no. He hates dogs. That was established at the beginning. So Tim Allen gets bit, and then we get really weird effects of like green little dog, like dandruff particles that are sentient, floating around in his bloodstream, and biting some of his blood chemical stuff. Yeah, that's how DNA works. That's what happens when you get bit by an ancient dog. That's how they explain how Tim Allen's got to turn into a dog for the movie. He has the dog taken away to be sent back to the lab, and then here's where the comedy comes in. Here comes all the trailer gags that you'd expect. Tim Allen wakes up the next day. He has a robe on. He starts chasing the robe like a tail. He's eating from his cereal bowl like a dog would eat from a bowl. When he goes to the bathroom at work, at one point he like raises his leg like a dog. It's oh my god. You know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of, I think this came out in 2000. It was either 2000 or 2001. It reminded me of Nutty Professor 2: The Clumps, which that was also not very good. But there was a huge chunk of that where Eddie Murphy as Buddy Love was doing that because his DNA mixed with a dog. That's what it was reminding me of, and it wasn't funny there, and it was barely funny here. Eventually, Tim Allen goes to see the dog in the pound, and oh yeah, that's right. He didn't have it sent to the lab. He had it sent to the pound. This movie's very repetitive, and we'll get to that later. So he's in the pound with the dog, and then his blood pressure just starts getting up. He starts getting more and more anxious, and then he transforms into a dog. They don't show the transformation. They always zoom into the bloodstream and then zoom out the eye, and then he's a dog, just miraculously. That's magic. Tim Allen, after running on all fours while naked and having his tongue flapping in his eye, that's a joke, then looks at there's a bunch of TVs in a TV shop mirror that are reflecting like what's in front of it, and of course he sees that he's now a dog. He accepts it. He tries to explain to his kids by using a Scrabble set and spelling out that it's I am dad, but they just put it away. Admittedly, there is one funny line where he's like, after all these years, you never clean your room, but when dad turns into a dog and I need to do this, you now start cleaning up. That was actually kind of funny. Then, just like every other kind of movie where they do this kind of stuff, the dad as a dog, starts to, see the kids when they're by themselves and, when they actually are at their highest point. Like, he sees that his son's not very good at sports and that he wants to be an actor, and he's like, you're really good at that, son. Of course, they can't hear him because he's just thinking this in his head. And he says, oh, my daughter's, a lot smarter than I gave her credit for. I feel bad for, neglecting her and not really spending a lot of time with her. He ends up missing an anniversary at one point, and of course, the wife is all sad and alone, and then she runs out into the rain, and she sees the dog, and she decides to take the dog home, but of course the dog's Tim Allen, and of course there's that, this is before he decides he's going to set everything right at that point, and he has the token line in a movie where he goes, don't worry, honey, I'm going to make things right, and I'm like, oh my god, here we go. So at this point, there's tons of like back and forth before in the movie where the dogs keep getting switched out, and there's going to be more a little bit later. So then Tim Allen goes to the lab, has to get his blood sugar up because he's transformed into a human again at that point. And he's also been kicked off the case because apparently the person that they were fighting against, the person that was the arsonist trying to fight against the laboratory, apparently he pleaded guilty. So Tim Allen's off the case, but Tim Allen, he knows that Robert Downey Jr. and friends are up to no good, so he needs to stop them. So he goes to the lab. He's still a human. He sees this homeless guy. Insert Trevor E. Bum joke here. Hey, Trevor. He says, hey, throw this stick so I can catch it. The homeless guy does it. He catches the stick. He's now a dog again. he sees them testing out this, live forever immortal serum that they've made, and they inject it into Mr. Strickland, the old guy, and Robert Downey Jr. has poisoned him because you were always in my way. I hate you. You're a pig. You always ruin things for me. I'm always second in command. I'm now first in command, pal. Yeah, so he just kills that guy. So now, and then I love it because they're like, you killed him. Like his two bumbling assistants, we'll call them not Bulk and Skull. He's like, he hands them the needle that he used to kill the guy, gives it to them, and it's like, yeah, take that, accomplice. And they go, oh no. And here's the thing, they're wearing gloves. They're wearing gloves during that. So it's like, it's not, I don't know. That part was like so baffling. But of course Tim Allen was seeing all of that. So Tim Allen runs back to the house to finally get everybody to know the truth. Mama's not there, but the kids are there. He gets the Scrabble set, finally spells everything out, and, oh, Dad, I can't believe this happened. I'm so sorry. Don't worry, kiddo. Of course he's thinking that in his head, because, again, he's a dog. He can't speak to them verbally. Then they're like, we gotta call Mom, which, yeah, Mom's totally gonna believe that Dad's a dog. Insert other kin joke here. I'm trying to think, what else? Oh yeah, Tim Allen as the dog gets captured again, brought back to the lab, where they say that they're gonna cut him open and experiment on him so that they can learn about the serum, and then Tim Allen as the dog bites Robert Downey Jr., so you know that he's gonna get infected later. The scientists, I guess, just pop out. So while talking to the actual dog, Shaggy, the dog says the best way to get your blood sugar down is by meditating. And I forgot to mention, there's a bunch of other animals that they injected with potential serums. And you have mice that bark, you have a frog with the head of a bulldog, you have a snake with a dog's tail, mice, rabbits, monkeys, all that kind of stuff, and they have like dog traits to them. They're comedic relief, and a good chunk of them are CG. So, everything but the monkeys I think were CG, and maybe a couple times with the rabbits and the mice, but other than that, the snake was definitely CG, the frog was definitely CG, but whatever. So everyone's meditating, and then you get the creepiest freaking shot in this whole movie where Tim Allen as the dog opens its eyes, and it's human eyes. It's horrifying. You can see it on the poster, on the DVD cover. It's horrifying. I don't know why they thought that was an appealing shot. I guess they wanted it to be whimsical, but it was creepy. So Tim Allen is officially back to human state. He's trying to get all the animals out of the lab by going through the vents. Monkey uses a taser to tase not Bulk and Skull, so that's why they're able to get out. So they got to go down to the courthouse so they can confront evil Robert Downey Jr. I swear to God, since this is a Disney movie, I would find it so funny if like those Disney conspiracy theorist channels out there started making connections. They're like, oh, how much you want to bet this movie that almost no one talks about that much from 2006 actually is an alternate evil version of an evil version of Tony Stark. And if they did that, I'd lose it. It's like, wow, trying to connect Shaggy Dog from 2006 to the Marvel continuity. That's wow. But because there's a bunch of weird Disney conspiracy channels out there. I don't know. Somebody probably would do it. I don't know, at some point. Anyway, of course, the actual dog, Shaggy, goes to the family. They think that it's the dad, but of course it's not. And then, it's even proven because Tim Allen is now in his car with a bunch of different animals that have dog traits, and there's a bunch of back and forth. Admittedly, it was kind of funny because he's like, I can't believe it, and the wife's like, I can't believe it either. He's like, no, you should see what I'm seeing. And there's a monkey with a hairbrush in his mouth. It's kind of funny because monkeys are funny. But they get stuck in a traffic jam, so Tim Allen's like, I gotta go. It'd be better if I run on foot, and I gotta show people that this is a real thing. So he runs, and he eventually starts transforming into a dog, and then I forget how he gets the blue cape. He jumps on top of a bus. He has a blue thing that's like a cape. He jumps down, and he goes, to infinity and beyond. And I'm like, damn it, this is the third thing I've made a video about where they had to force a Toy Story reference. The first time was, what was it? The first time was Boyfriend by Justin Bieber. The second time was High School Musical, which sadly I know a lot of people didn't see that video because it got taken down for copyright. I think it's better that this is a vlog because then Disney won't come at me. But yeah, third time. This is the third time they did a To Infinity and Beyond Buzz Lightyear Toy Story reference. Man. Okay. So Tim Allen is now in dog form. He gets to his family who are at the courthouse to see him, and he transforms in front of his wife, so now she believes him, and he's naked, so thankfully he has like an extra set of clothes that he switches into. And then they confront Robert Downey Jr. At first, the rest of the court thinks Tim Allen is crazy, but then he unveils Robert Downey Jr.'s dog traits that have now kicked in. Like, he grabs a security guard's nightstick, throws it. Robert Downey Jr. jumps up like a dog and chases after it and puts it in his mouth. He also grows a tail spontaneously and starts chasing it. Now, this is something I found. Apparently, they were going to do a full effect where he turns into a dog. But it was weird, because instead of having him turn into a sheepdog, which he would have turned into because he has the genetics, he turned into like a chihuahua. I guess it's funnier because like Robert Downey Jr. with the voice of a chihuahua probably would have been funny, but no. I'm so glad they didn't go with that. It's still pretty weird and dumb, and then he gets arrested because, of course, you know, he's a fraud and a hack, and he's doing all these illegal experiments with animals, and yeah. So yeah, good guys win. I guess they hinted at a sequel, maybe, because again, Tim Allen's a lawyer in this movie, and Danny Glover, who's in this movie as well, he's part of the staff. I think he's Tim Allen's boss or something. He's like, oh, you know, you might get promoted to DA. So I'm assuming that may have been like a leeway for a potential sequel with the Shaggy DA, which was like a sequel from the original 50s movie. I don't know. There was a bunch of stuff wide open, like they had the animals, you know, still loose. The Robert Downey Jr.'s goons, like, they were just tased, you know, they were still around, you know, I guess when they woke up from the taser. Or maybe they got arrested and we just didn't see that. But Tim Allen says, you know, I might take that promotion, but I'm going to go on a vacation with my family. And, you know, they go to Hawaii. Tim Allen still hasn't gotten the dog genetics out of him. He hasn't reversed that yet, because they have an ending bit where I think it's the son. It's like, hey, Dad, fetch! Throws a frisbee, and Tim Allen catches it in his mouth. And there's also a shot of the dog Shaggy on a surfboard, and it's CG, and then it just goes to credits. So yeah, that's the Shaggy Dog by Disney from 2006 with Tim Allen and Iron Man. Overall, compared to the three movies that I looked at last time, compared to the other three movies, better than Soul Plane, and a little bit better than Turkle in Trouble. The production's a little bit better. The CG is like very mid-2000s meh kind of CG, but it's a Disney movie, so it's competently put together. The story, again, is my biggest problem. It's just cliche, you know, all the, you know, human doing dog things jokes weren't all that funny. Is it an awful movie? Not really. Like, I could see families enjoying it. You know, if it's on Disney Channel, they might get a kick out of it. Same thing with High School Musical. Not the worst thing ever, but it's definitely something I wouldn't say is a good movie per se. If you like it, perfectly fine, but it just wasn't my thing. But again, compared to the other two movies I looked at, because Turkle in Trouble was just distracting with the awful British dub, and Soul Plane just wasn't funny at all. So this movie is more tolerable, but compared to the other two movies that I've got, we'll see how it holds up, if it's the best or the worst of all these movies we're looking at for September. The next movie I'm looking at, just to let you guys know, is going to be Planet 51, and I'm going to try and make that a review, not a vlog, so pray for me. So, until then, I'm the Media Wiz, because One Art Form wasn't enough, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.